Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Bill Allen sitting in for Winston Chester this morning. We got a great show lined up for you and a special guest. Today is Monday, October the 23rd. And we want to take a look at our weather forecast brought to us by Haney Technical Center. Looking at a high today of 77 with a low of 59 and some cooler weather coming during the week. 60-70% chance of rain today, so it could be a little bit rough around the edges with this front coming through. Tide is not fantastic. We got a low at 10:07 a.m., no high today, and whopping move in the tide of about 2.2 inches. So not going to be a whole lot of tide moving. Taking a look at the river, Apalachicola at Bluntstown is approximately 3 feet, and it's just been in a very slow, gradual fall. Choctawhatchee at Caryville is 5.7 and flat, so it's just not a lot of movement in the river or the tides. So we'll talk about the river in just a little bit. Coming off a trip to the mountains and also to the houseboat with my buddy Bill and Greg, and we'll take this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Bill and Bill Show. Join my buddy Bill Shields here. We've had, a recent adventure back at the houseboat with Greg Brudnick, who went with us for a short weekend and basically running bush hooks. Yeah. With your new...
Yeah, my newest invention.
The latest invention.
Newest improved.
We don't have here, by the way, but this is a 5th or 6th generation bush hook rig. But we obviously had a great time. We ate well, a couple of catfish, but as you put it, I've extended my legend beyond what even I thought was capable as far where it comes to gaff top catfish.
Yeah, over the years we fished in the bay and hardheads and gaff tops. He's a legend. I mean, top water, plastic baits, you name it, he's caught them and caught gaff tops.
Yeah,
and now
suspended baits.
Suspended baits.
I was setting a record at one point on suspended baits, but
and now he's catching them in the river. So we caught some very mature.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Gaff tops way up the river on bush hooks. So,
we were up down at the lower end, up Bierman's, where we've been a million times. And what's really, disappointing is, obviously, we set our hooks and then go back and bait them after dark and wait an hour or two and run them that first time. And, as you're pulling up, you see that limb starting to shake,
as Troy Landry would say, limb shake.
You got a tree shaker.
Yeah.
And you get up there and, after your head being run into the bushes with the spiders and snakes and all that, and pull that big thing up, and I was speechless, if that's possible, at that point. I mean, stud.
Large gaff tops. But they move up in the river. This time of the year when the water's low, and I guess the salinity, maybe there's a little bit of salinity up in the river or whatever, and they go up there. I mean, I've caught redfish, I've caught speckled trout, I've caught flounder, way up the river.
Yeah, sheephead.
Sheephead, a lot of sheephead.
One time. But, it kind of after, that's just a freak accident, right?
Yeah.
And so, next one or so is empty, and then you come up on another tree shaker, and I'm getting all excited.
7 of them.
7 of them. 7 of them, a record. Now, I'm going to blame a lot of that on you. well, naturally.
There's something new there.
Because we were fishing with
Shrimp,
in a
freshwater.
sauce.
Well, no, now the shrimp weren't. I'd put the shrimp were just shrimp, but I did kind of put some special sauce on some hot dogs.
That's right, it was hot dogs. My bad. Yeah, little cut hot dogs that was
They were a little odoriferous.
unpleasant at best. And I believe that special sauce is what drew them. I can't take the entire the credit for that.
Well, you didn't mind it on the biscuits the next morning.
Yeah. Really, I didn't wasn't aware. But anyway, we had a great time. We ate well. We did wind up with a couple of nice catfish, but
it made a good lunch the next day.
it made an outstanding lunch the next day. And which reminds me, we're going, when we come back, talk a little bit about some different recipes that was tried on us without our knowledge, but turned out to be fantastic. And you know, anytime you get the chance to go down there with friends and have a great time, and you know what, we ran them twice that night.
Yeah.
Which, you know, any more of that running them till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning ain't happening.
No,
you know,
no.
by 10 or 11 o'clock, we've run them twice. It's, well, we'll just check them in the morning and, you know, see how that goes.
I'm usually faded out by about 8:30, 9 o'clock anyway.
Yeah.
To stay up to 10 is momentous.
Yeah, that's a big occasion. But we caught 7, and we run 24 lines, 25 lines, something like that, and 2, like I said, really really nice catfish. But we've used in the past shrimp, mullet, the special sauce with the hot dogs. We have been lied to on many occasions that Ivory soap works. I know there's some of you guys out there that swear by it, but we've never done anything but just.
Well, now I made some soap with.
I made
some
true.
soap with that had some menhaden oil in it.
Right.
Now that worked pretty good.
That's
But,
different.
You know,
but,
actually, the best thing you can use is live crawfish.
Well,
I just don't think there's anything better than live crawfish.
And that's
not on the river anyway.
That's a big effort when you don't have your young, strong sons to pull that drag anymore.
For two guys our age out there trying to pull enough.
Yeah, and we couldn't talk Greg into it.
No.
So there you go. But we'll be right back with a little more on this and a couple of great recipes for you. Hey, and welcome back. Speaking of the houseboat, which has been there since, what, the 50s, early 50s?
Yeah, I guess.
It's on a barge. It's extraordinary. But how many years ago did you start clearing off a little bit behind the house?
Oh, I don't know, probably 8 years ago, something like that. We started clearing off the hill so we could have a fire and things.
Just weeds. It wasn't anything out there, but it'd been cleared off, so you know, you have a place to go and sit and enjoy sitting by the fire at night when it's cool. Now, however, the events of this past year, I'm probably going to be enjoying the fire from the deck on the houseboat. Jeff, you got that picture that you can put up there? This is Hoss Steak number 2, right?
Yes. Last October, we were down there preparing for, you know, opening of hunting season and the fall and all of that. And my youngest son, Cody, I had fired up the weed eater and started, and all of a sudden Cody comes.
Passed you like a shot.
I stepped in it.
And Cody can move, folks.
He was moving. And I thought, well, he's got on a hornet's nest or something. I turned it off. I said, what? He said, there's a moccasin over there. And man, it was a big moccasin.
Yes,
I mean, a big one. So we killed him. And then last weekend, a year later, we're down there again. And my buddy, Dennis Sauls, walks up on the hill, and he calls back to me, oh my Lord, Bill, get your gun. Get the pistol. So, yeah, it was another big one. And,
I mean, these are Folks, these are studs.
Yeah, these snakes are as big around as my forearm, and of course if you look at it, you can tell it was a really nice shot.
However, your technique for shooting snakes is a lot of people don't have that skill.
Jeff had commented, I had missed his head and it wasn't a very good shot. And my comment was, I thought it was a great shot because it was 25 yards running wide open, shooting over my shoulder. So I thought it was a good shot.
It was great, did he? It's the same way you killed the last one.
Yeah, I'm perfecting, bang, shooting them way over there.
It's a lot like dove. You put enough shot in the air, they're going to fly into one.
They got to fly one. They got to be there. There was a hail of gunfire.
All kidding aside, especially when this water is low, and all along the banks, squirrel season is quickly coming upon us.
Yeah.
Before you go jumping out of the boat or walking.
And neither one, by the way, neither one of these snakes were right on the bank. They were 20 yards, 10, 20, 30 yards back off of the bank. So, I've always kind of looked right at the water's edge expecting to see a snake there, and these were not there. So when you're stomping around in the squirrel woods early this year, if we haven't had some really cold weather, you need to be careful where you're stepping because these boys do not rattle.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
They don't have rattlers on them, so you're not going to hear them. You just need to be watching.
Yeah, and you really need to be careful who you run bush hooks with too when you're setting them, because there are those people out there that will run you up into. There are no brakes on the boat, so ramming speed into the trees is the preferred method for some people to stop the boat to set
And then there are other people that will just complain about every little thing.
I hate fishing.
Every little thing.
I hate fishing with those people.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we were talking about recipes, and you may not do too many things well, but you can cook. I'll give you that. And so lunch was extraordinary the next day with those catfish, which, I feel compelled to say, the temperature you cook catfish at, or fish down there.
I try to cook them at 375, no less than 350, but I'll usually put the fish in the grease at 375 and try to keep it above 350 the whole time I got them in there.
Because overcooking fish should be against the law, and probably is in a lot of places. So, once they start floating, don't keep pushing them back down.
If they're floating, you probably overcooked them.
We had a buddy that liked to keep those things really cooking. But that and the hush puppies. Now, we both use the same hush puppy mix.
As far as I'm concerned, I've eaten a lot of hush puppies, and I know there are people out there that have their own hush puppy recipe, and I've eaten some really good ones. My mother-in-law has a good one. But I'll tell you, that Sweet Betsy's.
Absolutely.
You can get it at Gandy's, and what's the other place out there on 22? Seafood Market out on 22. They both carry it. And if you see it there, you better buy a couple of them because they run out.
Yeah,
it's very popular,
especially this time of year. But
it's as good a hush puppy mix as you can buy, in my opinion. And
you don't have to do anything to it.
No, you don't really, but I do.
You really don't have to add anything. So setting this up, where'd I go? To the hill?
I don't know.
Well, somewhere anyway. And I was coming back, and Bill was cooking. Greg was inside prepping something, and
he was doing the cheese grits.
That's right. He was doing cheese grits, and I asked, of course, had he put the hush puppies in yet, because I feel a certain responsibility to test them prior to anybody eating them. And he kind of had this look on his face. He said, he said, I want you to try these. And I'm like, tell me you didn't put something in these things. Why do you mess with something that works? But we had some homemade candied jalapenos, which if you haven't had those on tuna dip or anything else, you are missing the boat. They are fantastic and easy to make. So tell them what you did.
I just chopped up some of the candied jalapenos and added to the hush puppies, which was, that just gave it a whole different take. But But the recipe you need to know is for the candied jalapenos, and I got this from Brudnicki.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he got it, but if you'll go to Sam's or somewhere and buy the gallon jar of the jalapenos, and like you would buy for nachos, they come in a gallon jar. If you buy those and a 4-pound bag of sugar, and pour the liquid on the jalapenos, pour the liquid into a big pot, and add the sugar, and dissolve the sugar, turn the heat on, dissolve the sugar, and you can add a little bit of garlic, you can add a little celery seed if you want to, whatever, but you don't have to add anything to it. And then once you dissolve the sugar, pour the liquid back on the jalapenos. Close the jar and put it in your refrigerator for 2 weeks. Voila.
And
easy, but I'm telling you, ooh, I'll eat it. Now, I can tell when things are just right hot because I have this ball spot up there. And if I can, yeah, I know. And if I hit that ball spot and it's wet with sweat, I know it's just right. So,
all right, well, we're going to take this quick break and then come right back. All right, welcome back. Hope you've enjoyed it so far. And I got to tell you that these candied jalapenos, you put them on anything. I mean, you can use them on nachos, but if you use them on tuna dip, if you use them on any kind of mullet dip or anything like that, or amberjack, you know, like it's just unbelievable. It is so good, and they're kind of a good combination between the sweet and the hot.
A cracker with cream cheese and a candied jalapeno is bad. It doesn't get much better than that.
Or a fork. You will eat them straight out of the jar. Trust me on that. So, yeah, well, I want to talk a little bit about, I just got back from my fall fly fishing trip in North Carolina, and all of my sons and brother-in-laws and nephews and friends let me down on this deal and could not work their schedules to go. And apparently, I am no longer allowed to wander those mountain streams, camped and fishing by myself. So,
well, you don't do good just wandering around town, baby.
That's true. That's true. That's true. GPS on phones are a wonderful thing. So, anyway, so my lovely bride gently suggested that she would go with me so that I could make this trip, and it was really fantastic. The weather was beautiful. The level of the creek was good. I've got some pictures that I want to share with you. Don't have a whole bunch of fish pictures. I basically caught and released and fished the delayed harvest water. But when you're fishing by yourself and you've got a rod and a net and fast moving water, getting your hands on a camera to try to take that picture is almost impossible. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So, Jeff, we put these pictures up. The first one there is obviously a big upgrade to my camping partners. That's one evening there, and I did drag that camper up there for the second time. I've swore I'd never do it again. But just some pictures of me starting to put things together there that first day. And then there's just, it's some of the most beautiful country that you can have. These are just some of the areas that I fished, and some of me in the more shallow parts of the creek where Donna had access to take some pictures. You have to be a little bit careful up there. Some of it gets kind of deep at times. So anyway, there's just some shots that I wanted to share with you.
Did you fall in the creek?
Then also, I'd like to reserve comment on, I have been baptized in that creek several times, and anybody that says they hadn't is lying, basically. But the one picture I really wanted to show you is this Thunder Mountain General Store, which is up on the Cherhola Skyway. Some great folks that run that. They make great biscuits. Just put it that way. We went up there, and it's in the middle of nowhere, but you can see that one picture of Donna outside, and the proprietor, and I forgot the car, whose name is Bob, is photo bombing her there on the thing. They're just a lot of fun. He and his wife, and that's a picture of them there inside that store. It's great people and a great place to stop. But there's a bridge in the background on this one photo that shows the green sign, which is the hatchery supported area where you can take fish. And on the other side of the bridge is the black sign, which is the delayed harvest area. And this time of year, they close that, but it is basically only open to fly fishing. You can't sling worms or corn or any of that kind of stuff in there anymore. And what they're trying to do on Big Snowbird Creek is to breed some bigger fish in there. I mean, the creek supports itself as far as natural fish.
Now, is there any type of barrier between the delayed harvest and the rest of the water?
The bridge.
They can't get under the bridge, or they can't?
No, they can. But
well, that's what okay.
That's
but there's
the
no
cutoff.
Okay, so
you see a lot of people fishing on the right side of the bridge.
But there are okay. So if the fish venture over there,
yeah, and that's the thing. If it goes from there up to the junction, which about 3 or 4 miles was the only place you could actually drive to, and so they put them out all up through there, and that's part of the deal. Is some of those fish are going to migrate down, to the lower areas, but making it delayed harvest and catch and release for a good part of the year is really starting to support some bigger fish in there. And I'll tell you, there were quite a few people up there from all over the place that were fishing. That came there to fish that delayed harvest waters, which I really love. The more
is there
fish
a significant difference between the amount of fish you catch in the delayed harvest as opposed to the downstream somewhat?
Well, so far you're catching bigger fish up there. You catch more fish below because that's on their regular stocking schedule. So, they put browns and rainbows and brooks in there. And so anyway, but just wanted to give you a quick glimpse at that, and we'll thank Bill as always for coming in. And you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.